This is not going to be a video just bashing iPhones. You see, oh, tunnel. iPhones are very useful for certain things. For example, looking up the meanings of certain words. Addiction, the fact or condition of being addicted to a particular substance or activity, with addicted meaning physical and mentally dependent on a particular substance. Now, swap substance for a thing, and I think you're getting close to what quite a lot of us are suffering from at the moment. Now, I'll say again, this is not a bashing of iPhones, Android phones, any technology at all. In fact, I'm a big fan of technology. I've built a career and a business all around technology. But I am sad that these days it feels like we're really losing the art of conversation and problem solving because of our reliance on these devices. So today I want to share some really practical tips that hopefully you can implement too on how I cracked my iPhone habit and what some of the real benefits of doing that have been for me. See, just personally for me, the phone was starting to take a few of the fun bits of life away. You know, things like getting lost. You don't get lost nowadays because you've got Google Maps, and quite often in life when you get lost you actually discover some of the best things. And random trivial knowledge and, you know, pub chats. You know, when you used to stand around in a pub and someone said, well, what's the capital of Hungary? And it used to take you 2 hours to argue over a couple of pints of what the actual capital was. Nowadays, before someone's even finished asking the question, Dave's already got his phone out and he's telling you that the unification of the areas of Buda and Pest are the reasons why it's called Budapest. To reduce how much I rely on my phone, so a couple of months ago I started implementing a whole bunch of new tactics which have actually quite successfully helped me reduce my addiction to that device, and hopefully can help you do the same thing too. So the first thing I did was to start the process of disabling notifications on my phone. Credit to Apple, they've actually made this a lot easier than it used to be. Here's what I do. I use one of the focus modes on the iPhone and I set my do not disturb to be on 24/7. When you've got do not disturb turned on, you can still allow certain people to contact you and certain apps to send you notifications. So my wife, my daughter, for example, maybe if I want the phone to be able to ring so I know that someone's trying to get in touch with me. If you're working during the day, you can decide which apps and which people can disturb you, but everything else is turned off. Another one in settings, if you go to settings, you scroll down to your phone and you scroll down in that page there, you can silence unknown callers. Silence unknown callers is probably one of my favorite things because if someone is trying to contact you and you don't know who they are, if they're not in your address book, it will basically not ring your phone, it won't notify you, and they'll be forced to leave a voice message. Then I started deleting apps off my phone that I didn't need. For example, Twitter. I'm not really using Twitter anymore, and I can use Twitter on my desktop, on my computer. So if I want to publish something for my work, I'll wait until I'm at home in front of my laptop to do it. I won't have Twitter on my phone, so I'm not picking it up every now and again just to browse through it. Twitter for me has now become a publishing tool. And talking of which, that's why I put all my social media apps in a folder called Content Distribution. It's not called social media, it's not called fun, it's not entertainment, it's content distribution. And for someone like me who uses social media for a living, like this YouTube channel, for example, I now treat social media as a platform to distribute content, not a way for me to consume content. When you're at home, if you've got a voice assistant, you know, like an Alexa or a Google Assistant, whichever one you use, I've started using those a lot more to find out basic bits of information instead of reaching for my phone. Hey Google, what's the temperature in Melbourne today?
In Melbourne today, expect a high of 17 and a low of 8.
17. This is summer, by the way. This is summer in Melbourne. 17 degrees. The advantage of that is I just get the exact information I want and nothing else. If I pick up my phone and try and find out what the temperature's doing, then I'm also probably going to see that notification from Instagram and I might be more inclined to check it. Just a caveat here, I do actually do some work with Garmin, so other watches are available when I say this, but if like me, you like exercise, running is my thing, and you like listening to music at the same time, get a watch which can play music for you instead of carrying your phone when you go out and exercise. That way you're not tempted if you do stop just to pick up your phone and start scrolling for a second. These days, I never ever run with my phone. This next tip, possibly one of my favorites. Now I use Apple Pay on my phone. I love it. I think it's a brilliant use of technology. I've got my credit card stored on here, but if I'm just going out for a short period of time, maybe to the coffee shop with my wife, I no longer take my phone to pay. I use, hang on, you might not have seen one of these things before. This is an actual credit card. By taking my physical credit card and not my phone to pay with, I'm not tempted then just to pick up my phone and start scrolling again. Again, this is all trying to break you out of the cycle of, I'm bored, what shall I do? I'm going to reach for my phone because that's the thing that entertains me. Breaking out of that boredom cycle has probably helped me the most in terms of not reaching for my phone when I want to entertain myself. What I do now, no word of a lie, I haven't just done this as a prop. I love crosswords. I always now carry a crossword with me wherever I go, because if I've got 5 minutes, if I'm out shopping with Jack, for example, and she's off looking at something and I sit in the man chair in the shop and I'm bored, most of the time you'd reach for this. Nowadays, I reach for this. I cannot tell you how awesomely nerdy it is to be out in public and sit there in a chair in full view of everybody. Everyone else is on their phone. It can be on the train, it can be in a shop, it can be in a public park like this. Sitting there doing a crossword, not only does it entertain you and keep you occupied for a few minutes, but man, it feels so good. It also makes you look incredibly intelligent. That's just a side benefit, but I think seeing someone sitting there doing a crossword looks so much better than seeing someone sitting there like this. I've started charging my phone not in the bedroom as well. I've got a contactless charger which is in our living room, and at the end of the day, when I'm finished, I'm going to bed, I put my phone on that charger. I leave it there all night. It doesn't sit next to my bed. And when I wake up the next day, this is a follow-on from that and an important one. When I wake up the next day, I try and give myself at least 1 hour before I even look at my phone. Now, I understand you may have kids, you may have reasons why you want to have your phone next to you and you want to be contactable, and if that's a requirement for you, then I'd say go back to the earlier tip about that focus setting and make sure you only allow the people that you want to hear from to be able to contact you when your phone is sitting next to you in your bedroom. You don't want it to be there lighting up during the night, and I just think if you can avoid this, for the first hour, if there's one thing you take from this video, for the first hour of every day, if you can avoid picking up your phone and looking at it and just talk to your family, do your crossword, make a coffee, stare out the window, just do something that doesn't involve looking at your phone as the very first thing you do when you wake up, I think that in itself will make a massive difference to you. By doing all those things, I've noticed a whole series of huge benefits in my life now. By taking my head out of that space and being more present and here in the moment, I feel so much calmer. Second benefit, but also a tactic I've used to stay off my phone, is I'm exercising more now as well. I've talked about running. You can see I'm cycling like I'm doing in this video. I'm enjoying things like TV shows more because I'm not sitting there with my phone missing half of what's going on the TV show in front of me and focusing on what's going on in front of my face. By putting my phone on that charger on the other side of the living room, I'm actually enjoying TV more. I'm enjoying films more. And by using my phone less, I feel that I'm caring less about what people say on social media. And by doing that, I feel like I'm less inclined to have to stay at home to try and do things on social media to make people care more about me. I just don't care about that stuff as much as I used to. And with all that extra time, I'm not as chained to my desk, and I'm exploring things like this. Okay, this was supposed to be my big finale to this whole thing about getting out and being adventurous and discovering the things like in my hometown of Melbourne, which you never would have discovered if you're playing on your phone. This is the Pink Lake of Melbourne. Now, I don't know whether you can see, but it's not actually, well, it's not pink. See, in summertime, this lake, because it has a really high saltwater concentration, when the temperature has been just right and there's not been much rainfall, it actually turns bright pink. And I wanted to end the video by showing you this pink lake. Well, I guess it's because the temperature hasn't actually been that hot recently, and we have had quite a bit of rainfall. It is not pink, but I could have probably looked that up online using my phone beforehand and saved myself the journey, but I've never been here before, and now that I'm here, even though the lake isn't pink, it is still actually quite beautiful. What are some of your tactics for how you've been able to get off your phone? Let me know in the comments below. It will really help me, but it also helps the community as a whole if we share some of those common experiences. Otherwise, thanks as always for watching, and I'll come back when it's pinker, maybe in a few months.